Well, it has been 1 year since the Taliban took back control of Afghanistan after 20 years of fighting with the U.S. and its allies. Imtiaz Tyab is in the capital city of Kabul with a look at how things have changed in Afghanistan over the past year. Imtiaz, good morning.
Hey, Anne-Marie, good morning and good to talk to you. Yeah, we were just at a celebration that the Taliban is holding today, marking the 1 year anniversary of their takeover and indeed the end of 20 years of fighting. But for the Afghans we've been speaking to, they tell us that today is a day of sadness, anger, and fear.
The tumultuous end to America's longest war, immortalized in these chaotic scenes. The Taliban's lightning-fast takeover of Afghanistan just weeks before the United States' planned military withdrawal triggered such intense panic that thousands of Afghans stormed the Kabul airport in a desperate attempt to flee the country. Some even clinging to a moving U.S. military aircraft as it rose into the sky and falling to their deaths. It's an anguish Zakir Razai and his family live with to this day. His 17-year-old son Zabi was found among the dead, while his 19-year-old son Zaki, who had also clung to the aircraft, hasn't been seen or heard from since.
Take us back to 1 year ago.
The only memories I have are that my children's bodies were mangled and torn to pieces, he says. It's 1 year that I've been searching for my son. This is the calamity that I remember. But for the Taliban, today is a day of joy, as hundreds filled the central Kabul square just yards from where the U.S. Embassy once stood, waving flags and chanting, "God is great," rejoicing that it's back in control of a country it once ruled from 1996 up until the 2001 Allied invasion that followed the 9/11 attacks.
As the Taliban celebrates its 1 year anniversary of taking over Afghanistan, make no mistake, this is a nation that remains internationally isolated, with not a single country recognizing the Taliban government.
And yet, the Taliban's day-to-day focus seems to be more about controlling the lives of women. They've told them not to go to work, have said girls over the age of 12 cannot go to most formal schools, and have placed restrictions on women's freedom of movement. Akif Mahajer speaks for the Ministry of Vice and Virtue, which has issued these decrees. Islamic law permits women to travel alone for up to 48 miles without a male guardian, he says, but not any further because a woman is a creation of God that cannot endure difficult journeys.
Can you at least see why people look at your government, look at your ministry with suspicion, particularly on this specific issue of women?
No, he says, we don't listen to the world as far as our Islamic law prescribes. We will not yield to the world's unwarranted pressures. Despite the risk, some Afghan women continue to defy the Taliban. In a rare protest this weekend, around 40 women took to the streets of Kabul to demand their rights, chanting bread, work, and freedom. But were instead met with bullets as Taliban security forces fired live rounds into the air to disperse them. 1 year into the Taliban's takeover of Afghanistan, and the nation also remains in the grips of what the UN considers the world's worst humanitarian crisis, after the Biden administration froze billions in assets from the central bank and foreign donors pulled vast amounts of funding that once made up 3/4 of the nation's annual budget.
Now, as the Taliban celebrates this 1 year anniversary and indeed the end of America's longest war, it has to be said that Afghanistan is now a less violent place, at least from a conflict point of view. But when you consider the fact that the Taliban has just been erasing the most basic of rights and the economy here remains in free fall, the future for most Afghans remains extremely bleak. Anne-Marie.
I want to get into sort of the status of women, but let me ask you, this is a national holiday. What is the Taliban touting as its success over the past year?
Very good question, Anne-Marie. What the Taliban will say is that we were victorious. We have liberated Afghanistan from foreign occupation. We have liberated Afghanistan from our invaders, and we are now a free country. But the reality is for most Afghans, it couldn't be further from the truth. As we've heard, women have seen their rights stripped almost overnight. People live in fear of the Taliban. They live in fear of violence. They live in fear of revenge attacks. And more importantly, the economy here is in tatters because the Taliban is isolated from the rest of the world. And the U.S. has frozen its funds. International governments has stopped sending Afghanistan money, which it so desperately was dependent on for so many years. And so many people's lives here is, frankly, terrible. And so the Taliban can't really offer them any tangible benefits to their lives. And all they've been saying to them is, you're now free. Anne-Marie.
You've given us some insight into the ways in which women's lives have changed for the worse. You know, in the beginning, what the world was asking is that the women of Afghanistan, the girls of Afghanistan, would be able to continue their education, primary school, but also secondary education. And that probably would have resulted in more aid flowing into the country. Why has the Taliban not been able to deliver on that? Because for a moment there, they said they would.
It's perhaps the most key question that governments around the world have. And you have Muslim countries who say, we have no restrictions on the education of women and girls. And the Taliban says, well, we are a different country. We're working through it. They call it a technical issue. That is something that will be resolved. But I think the reality is that the Taliban in 2022 is not that different from the Taliban of 1996, at least when it comes to this specific issue of women's rights, and the education of girls. As we've been saying, girls from the ages of 12 to 17 have not been allowed to go to school. We have, of course, seen in some provinces where people are more comfortable with it, in less perhaps tribal areas, girls have been able to go to school. And even here in Kabul, there are unofficial schools where the Taliban turns a blind eye to. But the reality is that the Taliban has been using this specific issue as a stick, if you will, to show that they have this control over Afghanistan and perhaps more importantly, control over some of the most vulnerable people in this country, and that is schoolgirls. Anne-Marie.
So heartbreaking, Imtiaz. Thank you very much.